Two storms brewing in the Atlantic right now. One could be upgraded to Emily very soon, and there's an area in the tropics we're watching closely, and I'm hoping nothing can form in this area because of how primed up it is. Let's take a closer look at the tropics right now as we're watching them very closely this time of the year. Looking at the heat energy. Now, this just looks specifically at the ocean content. Should a storm get in these areas in the yellow, orange, or red, they could rapidly intensify due to the fuel that they would have in this location. Now, this does not assume what's happening above it. There could be a tremendous amount of wind shear, which keeps things calm, but we need to watch for any system that could enter the Caribbean or the Gulf in the next couple of weeks. Right now, the two systems we're tracking in the tropics are in the middle of the Atlantic. Both are moving away from the United States, but we do have a high probability of our next tropical system, which would be named Emily. It's a tropical wave right now that is beginning to get a bit more organized. The one thing that's been lacking with it is a clear defined center of circulation. The winds are there. They're at 40 miles per hour at the latest advisory. It's moving west-northwest now at 8 miles per hour. The latest computer model guidance shows it's going to loop east of Bermuda, not even being a threat to them. So it's going to be mainly out to sea, but it would likely encounter more favorable conditions, which could allow it to become a named tropical system. We're also watching extratropical Invest 97. It's sitting along an old cold front. That's giving a break from the humidity across many on the East Coast, but it's also a breeding ground for storms. Thankfully, the jet stream is pushing this away. The winds are at 45 miles per hour. This is going to get up toward the north and east into some cooler water and should not be a threat to the United States or really become a named system. Let me back this model up. This is our trusted European model. You're looking at the storm energy or the spin in the atmosphere. You've got that extratropical system caught up in a very beefy part of the jet stream, which is going to send that thing packing. You've also got what is likely going to become Emily, getting a bit more consolidated here. Likely a window of a couple of days here that it will be a named system as it passes east of Bermuda. Then it enters that wind shear caught up between the Bermuda High right here and the dip in the jet stream right here. That's going to allow it to race off toward the east and not be a threat to the United States as well. So what else is cooking beyond that? I've got you through Friday here with both of those systems being a thing of the past. Looking at any kind of energy toward the south, any of these waves that try to move off of Africa are getting suppressed right now and not really becoming much of anything. In fact, as I look out toward August 10th, this is a long-range model here, I don't see much brewing in the Atlantic. Now, that could certainly change. You get a wave to sit on an old boundary. That certainly could crop up something. But right now, indications are that the first week, maybe even 2 of August, will be a bit on the slow side. And the reason why it looks like we are going to see an increase in the Saharan dust. Right now, there's a big plume of it in the middle of the Atlantic, kind of wrapping around what will likely become Emily. That's also another reason why this is not quickly becoming a strong storm. But you see the big plume moving off Africa going into this Friday, into the weekend. That doesn't really completely remove the chance for tropical activity, but it certainly is something in our favor, especially when you have an Atlantic water temperature right now that is sitting really, really high and really above where we would typically see at this time of the year. In fact, when I dig deeper on that, I'm seeing ocean temperatures, especially closer to home, there in the Caribbean and the Gulf that I've been showing you, that are typical for late August, early September, the peak of hurricane season. So if you look at that in that realm, we've got conditions in those areas that are typical for the peak of hurricane season right now at the end of July, beginning of August. So we will continue to watch the tropics closely. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. We'll keep you up to date on all things tropics moving forward and keep you up to date on these storms that could be brewing toward the United States.